gracious hosts, unique lodging, and tasty cuisine. New Mexico bed and breakfasts are New Mexico true. Our innkeepers are as special as New Mexico, and we're sharing their stories. Read about them and plan your trip at nmbba.org. Hey, everybody, welcome to Big Blend Radio's Second Thursday New Mexico show, where we talk about travel, food, events, where to stay and play. We always talk with innkeepers who belong to the New Mexico Bed and Breakfast Association. And I encourage you to go to their website. It is nmbba.org. We do this every second Thursday, so of course you can keep up with us at bigblendradio.com. But today we're going to be talking about weddings, elopements, honeymoons. We're getting into the romance world because, it's coming up. Valentine's coming up. A lot of people got engaged over the holiday season. And so we're going to talk about especially elopements, small weddings, and where you can have them. And we're going to go to Northern New Mexico today. We're going to talk about elopements at Casa Escondida Bed and Breakfast in Chamayo. I'm going to welcome Kim to the show. Kim, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you on the show. Everyone, the website for Casa Escondida is casaescondida.com. We also have Sherry at the Inn of the Turquoise Bear in Santa Fe. You can go to that website, turquoisebear.com. Welcome, Sherry. How are you?
Thank you. Fun to be here.
It's good to have you on the show. I know both of the inns do elopements and have special packages. But elopements seem to be kind of on the rise, especially after, during and after the pandemic or wherever we are in that world of the pandemic-y thing. But Nancy, you had some history on elopements. Should we even be telling people about this?
Well, no, back in the 1700s, an elopement would occur when a young man was told that he was going to marry possibly an older sister when he liked the younger sister. Arranged marriages were happening back then, and they were not that the couple wasn't in love. So the guy
Wow.
would go steal his love, maybe from the same family, but not always, and elope to get married before he would have to marry someone he didn't love. So elopement started from that, just from the idea of arranged marriages that weren't exactly what couples wanted. I have to say, I get that.
Yeah.
It's hard enough to get married and not make a mistake, let alone being told you're going to marry this person that you don't know, or maybe you do know, but you're in love with somebody else. And it used to fall in mostly into families where there was older, younger sisters, and the family was always trying to marry off the older one. Just
Well,
saying.
this is interesting. I think we've changed up a little bit. Elopement seem I don't know.
Oh,
But
now it's not
Sherry, let's go with you because I know you actually officiate weddings at the Inn of the Turquoise Bear, So are elopements are people just bailing from their family, or are they just really smaller weddings and keeping things intimate these days?
I think for us, it's smaller scale gatherings and keeping things intimate. It can be between two, it can be between 10 for us here, the capacity that we have here at the inn. But everybody is a known party
Yeah.
for participating when they contact us and ask
That's
and
so
inquiry
funny.
about having an elopement here at the inn.
Okay, so yeah, it's different than the drive-through, weddings in Vegas, Las Vegas in Nevada, not in Las Vegas in New Mexico. But let's go over to Kim over at Casa Escondida. What kind of elopements are you getting? Intimate or like naughty? I'm running off from my family elopements.
I would say it's primarily people who would like an intimate setting. Sometimes it seems that they've decided that they want to do it as quickly as possible, and so I think the
Mm.
elopement seems to be a very good option for them. Certainly, it hasn't been as much about running away from family because we do have a lot of couples who have included their family, and like the Inn of the Turquoise Bear, we, have either just the couple doing a kind of true elopement, or we have them inviting their families to come and join them and support their newfound life together.
I think what's really cool about the elopements, when you were saying that some people just want to do it quickly, I know from living in military communities that a lot of times people want to do that before a husband or a to be husband or to be wife is, going on a tour, like, being shipped off, you know what I mean? And having to go and leave the country, that they'll do that. And obviously there's pregnancies too, but sometimes people are like, you know what, let's just do it. We're in that mode. Let's do it. And I think there's something about getting hitched in the land of enchantment. I mean, New Mexico has this magic to it. And I think, we're
Mm.
also getting to the point of, are we going to put all of our money into this massive wedding when we could do something intimate and still beautiful and precious and memorable and have that magic and, save our money for a house maybe, so I see that's a little bit of a difference. Have you seen that, Sherry, as well, over at the Inn of the Turquoise Bear?
I think people are always trending to think about their life as a whole. I think that people know when they want to have something just between the two of them, or if they want to have a full on gathering. I think that people really think about their destination, want to be here in Santa Fe, and
Mm.
then know what they want to build for, that moment. And yes, that can mean a different investment, a different focus, and not to focus so much on maybe having a, very palatious wedding, but something small, something that's
Mm.
intimate, something that's meaningful, and then be able to go out and have maybe a vacation if they haven't had one, or yes, invest in their home.
And
Yeah,
looking,
put the money in the honeymoon.
yeah, the honeymoon too. I mean, and then you can
Yeah.
honeymoon in Santa Fe. Are you kidding me?
Mhm.
You could honeymoon all over New Mexico and be happy. Chamayo, how far are you from Santa Fe, Kim?
We're about 35 minutes north.
Oh,
Oh, that's not bad.
No,
are
not
you
bad at
getting
all. It's a real quick drive.
a lot of
Yeah.
people that just kind of want that out, like out of the city kind of feel, which I don't think Santa Fe feels like a city personally, but that's just me. But just kind of, I kind of feel like we haven't been to Chimay yet, and we will get there because we travel full time, so that's our big thing. But it just feels like to me when you think about Chimayo that it's kind of maybe people that want are like more like nature and want to have more like love the outdoors. I don't know if I'm right or wrong on it in history, of course, but maybe even going from Santa Fe. I mean, are you guys getting a lot of locals coming in and doing it? Because
It's
when
interesting. We get a
go ahead.
lot of folks from all over the place. So, a lot of our couples are from New Mexico, from typically from south of where we are, Albuquerque, Las Cruces, all throughout Mexico. But, we've also married folks from Oklahoma and Texas.
Wow.
So we see a real varied um, span of the states that represent the couples that come to Casa Escondida.
Mm.
Mm.
And then that's the thing going on both of your websites. So everyone, casaescondida.com. It looks so beautiful that
Mhm.
the photos, I mean, that's a huge part of the wedding, right? Is not only, the location, but the photos that they're going to have for their memories. So are you
Right.
finding that is a big draw for people?
Yeah, I definitely think that the being able to have that backdrop, whether it's the different mountain ranges or just having some natural backdrop, they love to take the photos around the property. So it's certainly a big draw for our guests.
Mm. And Sherry, over at the Inn of the Turquoise Bear, because you guys are kind of spread out with like almost like a lot of casitas, right? So that's also seems like you have a lot of places you can photograph. And if people want to book the whole inn, they could, right?
Yes, we have three wedding packages that we offer for elopements, and those are 2 night minimum stays. And if you do want to book the whole house, it's a 3 night minimum stay. We're only 9 guest rooms here at the inn. We have a lot of lovely small settings in our gardens. We have an intimate back patio space that we have had a wedding. There are lower gardens that have a little bit more of a landing and more spacious seating. And then some people just, stand in a semicircle up on the top tier of the estate and gather
Mm.
around there. But yes, there are a lot of still natural settings, even though we are an estate. There are some pretty lovely spots to have a really nice wedding or gather around the fountain that is original to the estate. People love to do that as well. Yes,
Well,
there's
that's
lots of
cool.
good outdoor spaces as well as inside.
So it's kind of neat that, so can people basically with these packages, go as big or small as they want, but you guys can officiate the wedding. So you can really help, especially if it's a destination, if people aren't local or maybe their family's local, that it, and listen, a lot of people do backyard weddings, but this is kind of cool where you don't have to put your family out. You go to the inn, you have that, that privacy as well for the couple. It just seems to me like this would be a big help for people. So you don't have to go through like those months of hell of trying to put a wedding together.
Arrange
You know what I
everything.
mean? And then, yeah, then we don't want bridezillas and mom-in-law zillas and all of that drama. I think we're getting to that place of people really just want some things nice and special without the drama. And it seems like bed and breakfasts are the way to go. So Sherry, tell us a little bit about that. I mean, how far can you help people in planning it, or do they need to go see the cake vendors and all of that if they're coming from out of town?
No, so we do get people from all over the United States and outside of the United States as well that come here for their elopement package. We can assist with boutonnieres and bouquet because our guests gather only 10 is sort of our capacity. Occasionally we'll go and do 20 for the wedding, but not more than that. We will assist them with flowers. It's usually like, a color scheme that the bride and the groom might have. They do have a two-tier wedding cake that is part of one of the packages. And then,
Cool.
of course, a reception for toasting the bride and the groom after the wedding. And, usually the elopement weddings last for no more than 30 minutes. It just depends on how the style in which they want to sort of have their vows go. Everybody's so different in how they want their vows. We have a standard set of vows as suggestion, but then some people like to play music and, of course, maybe say a poem or a prayer. It just depends on how,
Mm.
um, the guests want to enjoy and the bride and groom sort of want to develop their wedding. And then, of course, they can be as small as just, two people with the officiant plus two witnesses. I mean, it can go to be that petite, but still
Can you
really
get a
wonderful.
witness? Sorry.
Yes.
I gotta play that song. I couldn't help that. But I mean, yeah,
You
what
have to
happens if
get
you
one.
are just a couple saying, you know what, we're gonna do it, and we'll, do because I know people, I have friends that they eloped and then they did a bigger wedding later, but they wanted it on their terms, like their own thing. And so the witnesses were from a resort. This they did it in Mexico, but well, no, they married in this country, then did the big thing in Mexico. But they, their whole thing was to have their own intimate moments. So they needed to have witnesses that weren't part of the big thing. So can you provide the witness?
Yes, we can. We do. So we do have witnesses that can be available if need be, because usually it's just typically the bride and the groom, and then, of course, the person who's officiating. But some people do have their family members might be in the area or flying in with them. So usually there's 1 to 4 people still sort of with the bride and groom.
Nice. Kim, do you have witnesses?
We do have witnesses. And so if we do have a really small elopement, then we provide the witnesses. Often we do have our couples bringing a few folks with them or even a larger group of 10 to 12 folks. I think picking up on some of the themes that you've mentioned, the elopement seems to be a really good option because in our case, it does allow the couple to really focus on this commitment that they're making to each other, and they don't really have to worry about anything. We take care of ordering the cake, the
Mm.
flowers, boutonniere. We provide, a little sparkling cider for a toast. And so everything is set up for them. They basically just have to show up. Now, they also have the opportunity to do a little bit more. So, we had one young couple who wanted somebody to do a whole setup of a staging area for their ceremony on our um, balcony, but it really depends on what the couple wants. And I think most of them tend to trend towards super low maintenance, and it allows them to focus on each other and, the words that they're saying to each other. So they're really just lovely ceremonies. And as I officiate them,
Oh, you do
it
it too.
I do
Ah,
it as well. Yeah, I am always taken aback by the emotion that's generated, and the words that they exchange with each other, and it really is a very lovely moment to be a part of.
you
I
know,
think,
it, it
it's better because the big, huge, I mean, some people really have to have the big, huge wedding, but there's so much that goes with it. It turns into this major event, and then your mind is split between, oh, are there enough chairs? Did they do this? Did they do that? Is this right? Is that right? Instead of what you're really supposed to be concentrating on is you make this big decision to actually get married, you know?
mhm.
Right, exactly.
That's what I was saying about the drama. To me, no drama. And just go have a wonderful time, intimate time, and you can always do other parties later. But and I think bed and breakfast, there's something so special about staying at a bed and breakfast. From our experience, which I mean, I think in 2 years we stayed in 30 bed and breakfasts, and
Wow.
the
Yeah.
innkeepers are like their own visitor bureau. They know everybody in town. Something
Mhm.
goes weird, like, and listen, the fact that both of you do cakes, that's a huge deal. I know for a fact.
Yeah.
We used to live in a mountain town, and our
Yeah.
friends ran an inn, and people go, "Oh, we're going to bring the cake up the hill." Oh, you don't want to do that.
No, no,
No,
no,
no,
no,
you
no,
don't.
no,
No,
nope.
let the cake people do the cake thing. Don't play deliver the cake yourself. And then if
Mhm.
something happens to the cake, then we go into that drama zone. So like my whole thing is it shouldn't be drama. But bed and breakfast, the innkeepers and their staff are just always on, they want everything to be so perfect. And there's like it's a more relaxed feeling, you know what I mean? Than I don't know, some of the corporate, I'm not knocking corporate destinations, but do you guys know what I mean about that warm feeling? And
More
you know,
family like.
yeah, and if you want to have champagne in your room, you can. You can do what you want.
Exactly.
Yeah, you want to be
And you might
relaxed.
need it.
Hmm.
You might need it.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah, I think what
y-
one of the things that's really nice is because they don't have to worry about any of those other aspects of the ceremony or the
Mm,
celebration, they really get to focus on themselves, getting ready,
mm,
really thinking about this next step in their lives together. And I think the very relaxed atmosphere, what the way that we try and ease everything for them, makes it a beautiful experience for them.
mm.
that's
It's
cool.
part of, we're looking at the way travel has also changed. And it really doesn't matter about age groups. It used to be, oh, authentic travel is for people with a backpack and going around the world that way. It's not this, that's not true anymore. It's all ages want to have a very real experience when they travel. And bed and breakfast really do that well. Because you're staying in some place where, the food is local, someone's made it, it's not out of a frozen thingy. You know what I mean? There's just this magical touch that comes with it. So you're staying authentic within a region too. And so it's
Right.
like for getting married, that to me is the best thing. And if you have a few guests, you've, loved ones, family members, that's special too. So, Sherry, I wanted to go to you on this. How many rooms, like how many people can stay at the inn at one time if they want to book the whole place? Because I know you guys have a lot of beautiful, you've got the basilica, you've got a lot of beautiful churches too. So if people wanted to do that kind of wedding, they could still book the inn, right?
Can still book the inn so that their family can gather. So it's not just about the wedding moment, it's about the breakfast after in the morning. It's maybe hanging out on the patio and being able to have great conversations outside and enjoy the afternoon, and just be in nature, whether it's any season. But our capacity of the inn is 9 guest rooms, 18 standard, but we can do 20 guests here at the estate. And we have done 20 guests for a wedding. Um, we can do that, even though our
Mm.
largest elopement package says bride and groom plus 10 guests.
Mhm.
There's a little bit of a different conversation when people are thinking about having the whole inn for their family. And just to touch on your point from earlier, I think, yes, people are kind of wanting to have that full experience. It's not just the hour of the ceremony, it's about the time with their friends and family or each other, to have time on their arrival, getting ready the next day, relaxing and enjoying the time, and then having breakfast and the next day. So it's about sort of like the time quality that they can have. And I think that's hopefully why people choose inns. And of course, Santa Fe is a great destination.
Mm. I want to go over to Kim too on that with how many people for Casa Escondida.
We also have 9 rooms, and the total
Oh, yeah.
capacity, the max capacity is 28 in the guest rooms.
Mhm.
Most folks, however, stay at 2 to a room, so typically about 18 or so.
Mm.
One of the things I think that's nice about the bed and breakfast as an atmosphere for these weddings is that if a family doesn't book the entire place, and in most cases, I would say they don't, that they do get to meet some of our other guests and they get to share in the joy of it. And we have such a range of folks who get married here. We've had very young couples, we've had couples who are, having their second marriage, or
Mm.
very late in life marriage. And so it's been just really beautiful for them also to share that with other guests that are on the property.
That's awesome. And also going back to that authentic travel, New Mexico, like really, let's talk about food and are there unique things, in the land of, stay true New Mexico, right? Um, so when you think about a wedding and, are there different traditions for New Mexico as a state for weddings or elopements? And then is the food different? Is the cakes a little bit different? I mean, are you going to put green chilies in your cake? I'm just asking. I had to because, I'm that way. But I mean, so let's go to you, Sherry, with that. I mean, are there specific foods that are a little different that you'd have?
I mean, yes, there are people who've had red chili in their chocolate cake. I mean,
Really?
two very
That's
good
cool, though.
combinations
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
better
that
than green
do
chilies.
pair
Yeah.
well with one another. Yeah, red chili
Mhm.
for sure. But no, I mean, I think there is an energy of culture and art that is here,
Mm-hmm.
that brings people to Santa Fe. And we always try to make sure that we're bringing that in, whether that's breakfast or if they want something specific in a cake or a decoration. Some people bring that in through New Mexico through color theme as well. But we get people from all over, so it can truly go any direction.
Mm.
But yes, I mean, when you come to the inn, you will still have biscochitos. You will still have those elements and touches that are just true to Mexico.
Tell everybody about biscochitos. You guys have your
Mhm.
own cookie. Like, that's
Yeah,
so cool.
and they're
I
good.
mean, it is the national state cookie. Yes, they're delicious.
Yeah, it's got anise. It is like, oh, they're just
Yeah,
so
they're good.
good. And they're dangerous. You could eat a lot of them. And they go well with sherry. I know. I'm just saying they go very well with sherry. But, you know, I think that's another thing is like you can have bizcochitos at your wedding, and you can, you've got wine that comes from New Mexico. So you could have local wine and kind of keep it local if you wanted to have that feeling. I don't know how people will feel about Frito pie being served at a wedding. I'm just saying. But Kim, anything that
Sounds
you've
good
seen
to
in
me.
regard, do you guys do anything different for folks that want to have like a New Mexico style wedding?
Yeah, we try and accommodate that. I think that the bed and breakfast itself has that feel for the kind of cultural and artistic styles of New Mexico. And so people come for that reason. And then if they have any special requests, we figure out the best way to accommodate that. In terms of food, they will often make reservations at the Rancho de Chimayo, which is about a 5-minute drive from us. And so they'll set up their, whether it's a little bit larger reception or just a small dinner for the couple, at that restaurant or other local restaurants, and even drive into Santa Fe to celebrate at a restaurant there.
Mm. But Sherry, anywhere in Santa Fe that you guys recommend for the dining options, after a wedding, or yeah, you don't have to do rehearsal dinners with this. There's some saving again, right? But I
Yes,
mean, Santa Fe, you
we
guys have
don't.
so much. Oh,
Yes, there are so many restaurants that our guests can enjoy here in Santa Fe. There are so many, and there's such an array of different kinds of cuisine that they can enjoy. Here, we don't do like uh, we have a reception, but it's usually for cake and champagne toast, and then we have the breakfast, but we don't do any other catering outside of that.
mm.
Usually, if they want a recommendation, they'll just ask us. But yes, here in Santa Fe, we have so many recommendations and so many
Mm.
And everyone could go do the Margarita Trail if they wanted to in Santa Fe. That's a way to
Yes,
start off
there's
your
a
wedding.
chocolate trail now too. You can
What?
go
Ooh,
and eat
yum.
your way through chocolate as well in Santa Fe.
Nice.
Oh, is that there's a chocolate, it begins with a
Mm.
K that we went to. Oh, what is it? It's
Cacao,
oh my gosh.
cacao
It
chocolates.
that has to
Mm.
be on there. That is like
Yes,
everyone
they
must
are
go
on the
there.
chocolate trail. Yes, it's delicious.
Everyone needs to go. And if you need energy for your wedding, go drink that
Oh,
they have like a chocolate elixir in there. And I think it was like a Mayan or Aztec style, and it has that pepper in there that you're talking about.
Mm.
I remember
it's
having
really
that
good.
and going, I can
Mm.
run all the way from there downtown, down back to the hotel. I'm like Rambo. That was you know, oh my gosh, I was like revved up. Like, mm-mm. Everybody trade in those, Red Bulls and go get that. That is the stuff. It's good. And you should have it at your wedding because everybody can use the energy. It's good. And oh my gosh, I did not know you had a chocolate trail. That is so exciting. Mm.
I'm waiting to have a biscochito trail. I think that would be fantastic.
Oh,
Oh, that would be.
because
I like
everyone does it a little
that.
different.
A
The
little
Yeah.
cookies.
different. Exactly.
Do you
Ooh.
guys make your own at the B&B at Casa
No,
Escondido?
we don't. Not yet anyway.
Hmm.
We
Well,
do
if
make
We
you
our
want
have
a
a
own
trail,
really
you better
biscochitos
start it
here.
and start
yeah,
baking. I'm
exactly.
just saying. See? Do you make them, Sherry, over at the Inn of the Turquoise Bear?
We do. All of the innkeepers here make biscochitos. So yes.
Can you make them in the shape of a little bear?
We
Yes.
do have a cookie cutter that's in the shape of a bear, but
I
usually
knew it.
we stick to traditional cutouts. But we do have some, especially around the holiday season. We'll do a little fun and do a little bit of a fancier cookie. So,
I
yeah.
want bear pancakes. I want bear. Okay, so breakfast. Okay, so now the wedding, the elopement has happened, and even for honeymooners, do you guys do something special for them in the morning? Is breakfast a little bit different, or I mean, because I always think every bed and breakfast and the breakfast is part of that whole special thing. But is there anything we should know about the breakfast that what you guys serve, even just for people to know, because now I'm hungry. And now I wish I was in New Mexico again. I'm hungry. You guys are not helping me at all with this. Every time we do these shows, I start like craving New Mexican food, and there's such good food in your state. But Sherry, tell us a little bit about breakfast. Oh, you're going to kill me. I know.
Well, when we have a whole house booking, usually the breakfast is a little bit more of an energy of gathering in the family, and it's a little bit slower process because everybody really wants to take their time and sort of enjoy and socialize with one another. Maybe it's not as quick. But, breakfast here is always sort of experience because we like to start off with a little smoothie and then we kind of people can have and enjoy the buffet, fresh baked good and some fruit and yogurt and granolas and cereals, and then we go into a special of the day. That could be blue corn pancakes with
Mm,
red chili bacon. It
what?
could be a
Mm.
frittata. So I mean there's lots of different breakfasts that we do. We try to accommodate any kind of guest request of allergy or, food concern. We're always taking that in and making accommodations for that. But they vary. And it's always
Mm.
sort of like a surprise in the next day when we put up the breakfast board. Those guests are here with us for 2 or 3 days. They're kind of like, "Ooh, what's tomorrow?" And they
Yeah,
kind
because you
of
can
like
never
gather
repeat the
around the
same
breakfast
breakfast.
board. No, we
Yeah.
don't. And so they kind of gather around and they're like wondering what we're going to be baking or making into the next day.
Can you accommodate Nancy about the bacon? Tell her a little bit more about this. I mean, tell her about the bacon. Like,
My
describe the
favorite
bacon to her,
thing.
and then we'll have to make it after this. I don't know if we can. But tell. So it's like, are you doing like a chili dusting on it? Like, is it marinated? What's going on?
Yes.
No. So for here at the end of the turquoise bear, the red chili bacon is actually a traditional bacon that has been baked slowly in the oven. And then,
Mm.
of course, we make our own red chili sauce, a little bit of honey in there,
Mm.
Ooh.
glazed, and then baked again. So it's sort of nice and crispy and very full of sort of all those flavors that you love here in New Mexico.
And
Mm.
not too hot for people that, there's a
No,
there's
it's
a
like
learning curve.
savory. It's savory. It's a
Ooh.
it's a savory bacon. It's not like a intense heat. It's not an intense heat. It's
It's
savory.
baking bacon is so much better than frying it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Yeah.
totally different thing. And we were at one bed and breakfast that did, I guess it was a bourbon topping,
Bourbon, it was Cape
candied,
Cod and bourbon.
candied,
Candied
yeah,
bourbon,
candied bourbon
Cape
bacon. I was like,
Cape Cod seasoning. Hmm.
I'm gonna live here.
So Nancy's moving in because you've got bacon. She's moving in. So Kim, tell us about breakfast at Casa Escondida. Oh boy, this is
Ours
dangerous.
is served typically family style. And so, like Sherry was saying, we work with folks with food allergies and restrictions and try and do our best to accommodate that, which, is doesn't require too much moving and shifting of parts. So we will do, for example, um, we might start off with overnight oats with fruit, and then we'll do a huevos rancheros
Mm.
casserole, and then some herb potatoes to go with that. So it kind of just depends on if we are looking at making sure, there's less gluten in the breakfast, or we have a few vegetarians who are eating with us, and figuring out how we do that family style that can accommodate those different needs.
That's really kind of an interesting challenge for innkeepers now, right? It's keto versus vegan and vegetarian and gluten free. It's
Yes.
like,
Mm.
all right, here we go, So
Yeah, it
that's
can be challenging sometimes.
Mhm.
But we usually have a bunch of different recipes on hand that will work well with some of those preferences.
mm, that's cool though. And I think it's that again, like it's that special touch. it is like going to family. It's family. You feel that's the thing about bed and breakfast to me, is like you are welcome, and it's more, there's just this relaxing vibe. And I think for many, many years, bed and breakfasts were always like, be on your tippy toes and la di da. And now it's not saying that, they're not special places and la di da, but you can relax at a bed and breakfast, and the innkeepers want you to feel good and calm and relaxed. That's the whole point, and it feels like you can be, family style, that's the important thing.
Yeah,
Different than,
definitely.
yeah. Yeah,
It's
I love that.
lovely when, yeah, we have guests so we have coffee ready an hour before breakfast is served. And so they come out and they're in their pajamas, they're sitting in the living room area and getting to know each other. And it feels, really comfortable for them. And that really is what we strive to create, is that
Mm.
kind of environment where they can come as they are and relax and enjoy themselves and each other.
Wow. And Sherry, do you put anything in your coffee for the guests?
They can have whatever they would like. They usually let us know if they really have something specific that they want.
Well, I'm just saying, it's winter. Sometimes you want a little, happy, but
Little
Right, a
but,
little bourbon or something like that in their
hey,
coffee.
I don't know if I
Yeah.
was getting married. I want
I don't
something in
think
my
so.
coffee on the way. No, that's good. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. You're both in beautiful places, beautiful bed and breakfast. I encourage everyone to go to the website. So Casa Escondida Bed and Breakfast in Chamayo is Chamayo or Chamayo. I'm never going to get this right. Kim, correct me, please.
Chimayo.
Chamayo, Chamayo, Chamayo,
Yeah.
Chamayo.
Maya.
I can do it. I'll get it. The only way to know is, and really get it, you say it correctly, is when you go there. That's the only
Exactly.
way. So everyone, casaescondida.com. And then for the Inn of the Turquoise Bear in Santa Fe, go to turquoisebear.com. Sherry, did I pronounce turquoise okay? Okay.
Yes,
I never.
absolutely.
Thank you both for joining us. I encourage everyone again to go to the New Mexico Bed and Breakfast Association website. If you're traveling through New Mexico, stay true, stay New Mexico. Go to nmbba.org. Of course, we're here with our shows every second Thursday talking about New Mexico. So keep up with us at bigblendradio.com. Thank you so much, ladies. You take care. And
Ladies.
here's to everyone getting hitched in the land of enchantment. Cheers to you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracious hosts, unique lodging, and tasty cuisine. New Mexico Bed and Breakfasts are New Mexico true. Our innkeepers are as special as New Mexico, and we're sharing their stories. Read about them and plan your trip at nmbba.org.